For those of you who this might be your first webinar, my name is Estella Lugo, and I am with the Hereditary Neuropathy Foundation, and we are an organization focusing on patient programs and research for Charcot-Marie-Tooth. And tonight's special guest is Ellie, our Twitch star. So I know a lot of you are like me, you're like new to the whole Twitch thing and have a lot of questions for her. So yeah, tell us a little bit about, well, first tell us about your diagnosis and how you even learned that you had CMT, because this is, I think, a pretty unique story.
Yeah. I started having symptoms when I was 13. I
Okay.
started having breathing issues, which we then found out at 19 it was because I had a paralyzed left vocal fold. Um, and then about a year later was when the foot drop started.
Okay.
So foot drop on my left side started. I was really active at the gym. We couldn't really figure it out. I went through a bunch of testing and probably saw about 4 or 5 different doctors, and everyone was like, I was in a musical theater performing arts college down in California.
Oh, wow.
I'm from Toronto, Canada. And so I was far away from home, and I woke up one morning with no voice. And then I transitioned into being a seamstress and working with costumes. And then I noticed my hands started shaking and I was having troubles controlling the pedal. And so then I went for more testing. Ended up going to a doctor here in Toronto, um, the full round of tests, MRIs, CTs, uh, crazy long testing, which for some of us, it can take that long.
Mm,
And then it took them probably, so I was 13 when my first symptom happened and I didn't get a diagnosis till 29.
wow. That's a long time. That had to be frustrating for you. I can imagine. I mean, on top of, such a shift that you had to make in your education, right? Like, what was that like? That had to be difficult for you to go from, like, you know, performing arts to losing your voice. What got you through that?
I think it's some of those things that life happens and sometimes you can't control it. You can't. There's things that just happen and you can't do anything about it. And I think it's about finding that strength in yourself, having a really good support system around you. Like I wouldn't have been able to like keep going without my family and my friends.
Mhm.
They were like, you're going to find something that works for you and you're going to find something, and that pulls the positivity out in you as well.
Right.
So it definitely was hard, and losing singing I think was really hard because all I wanted to do was be on Broadway. I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway. That's it. My life is getting started. This is great. And then that realization, that took me a couple years. It took me going to business school and realizing that like business is great, but it's also kind of boring sometimes. And it's not theater.
Right. Yeah, there's a big contrast there between the two.
Exactly. So then it probably took me 5 years to discover where I wanted to go next. And I ended up just going back to theater, doing something different
Hmm.
and having a different outlook on it. And
Right.
just,
Yeah, I mean, you obviously adapted well, and I think it's really interesting too, because I think a lot of patients question, because it's so funny, because when I hear your voice, I hear a lot of similarities between mine and my sister as well, and a lot of people don't realize it can affect the vocal cords, and it's not like one of those main symptoms, but it's there, and a lot of us experience it. And a lot of times people are told that they're crazy and it's not CMT related, and that's frustrating too. So I think just hearing your story and just having some confirmation of that is refreshing to a lot of us. And just, hearing your story of how you adapted. And so tell us how you ended up on Twitch, and maybe a little bit of a background on what Twitch is, first of all, and how you ended up as a career Twitch caster, whatever, whatever the correct
a
name is.
content creator, caster.
Okay.
There's tons of different terms because Twitch is a live streaming website. So, like, take YouTube videos
Right.
and so whoever's representing the video is live right there on your screen and can react to whatever you're saying in chat.
Right.
Um, so, but they can do cooking, they can do sewing. There are people who dance, sing, um, body paint. And then there's a lot of gamers as well. And that's like every type of game you could imagine. Pretty
Right.
much any game that you see, like even a AAA, like big game, like the biggest seller for Christmas, or the small indie games that one of their friends could have made can all be played on the platform.
Right.
Um, and it's a place for communities to come together who have common interests and common
Mhm.
things. So like if it's a sewer, like I follow people who sew on stream, and like there's all of those people who've come together with that common interest of, hey, let's talk about this. Here's a hobby we all enjoy. Let's watch someone do it, ask questions, that sort of thing. Or let's watch like the best player play this video game live and see if they make mistakes, or try and learn some new habits or things like that from them.
And you can play with them, right? On the platform?
Depending on the game, there are different games that you can
Okay.
play with them, but like a lot of the really big YouTuber, or not YouTubers, but a lot of the big live players who then will post their stuff on YouTube later, um, will have a queue of like, hey, you can hop in a game with me. Or sometimes it's just general matchmaking. You have no idea. And then you end up with like, I know this person because they've
Right.
got like 10,000 people watching them play this game right now.
Wow. Yeah. And it seems to like really be catching a lot of momentum and buzz. Like a lot of celebrities I see, advertising and promoting appearances on Twitch. And yeah. So how long has it been out for? Or
Oh, um,
years? Or I guess it's just kind of catching on now. Or
yeah, so it was just in TV
okay.
previously. Um, and it turned to Twitch. I could be wrong. It could be 5 years.
Okay.
Someone might be able to correct me in chat.
That's okay. I will
Um,
hold you to it.
I can't remember when it turned over to Twitch, but Justin TV was a large gaming platform. And then it moved over to Twitch, which then 8 years. Thank you. And then it brought in a lot of the other categories. And that's something that's been growing within Twitch itself.
Cool. So I know you have a little demo for us. So a lot of us have not explored the platform
Absolutely.
yet. Would you give us a little walkthrough and just show us around and maybe show us your page and
Yeah, absolutely.
the events you have
Totally.
on there?
So do. And I got involved with it. So while I get this all set up,
Yeah.
I need you to enable.
Oh, okay.
As I got involved because my cousin streamed. And I like logged on and saw a family member and was like, oh, wait, I can see you, like you're in my computer screen right now. And I had kind of looked at it probably about a year before seeing her, but she really opened up my eyes to like what a community is, and like meeting all of these incredible people um across the world. And it's a super cool experience. And so she was like, well, why don't you just try it? Like, buy a webcam, stream from your Xbox, and just try it and see if you like it. And then next thing you knew, 2.5 years later, I'm gonna move you over here. Um, I'm live 4 to 5 times a week, and this is my full-time job.
Yeah. So you can make a living on it, which is really, like
Mhm.
a lot of us already know that YouTube and social media influencers, you can do really well that way. But it's really interesting to see how that translates to Twitch.
Absolutely. So this is the landing page of Twitch. Um, if you were to just type in twitch.tv, this is what you're going to get.
Okay.
And if you've never signed on before, you're not going to get any following. You're going to just get the general carousel of the front page, which highlights every hour 5 different streamers and different things that they do. So we've got Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, so it's like a first-person shooter. Again, there's some Call of Duty. Again, more first-person shooter. I'm hoping that they have maybe something different. Nope, first-person shooters, esports currently is what they're highlighting. Sometimes they'll have charity streams up They'll have music streamers, they'll have cooking streamers. I found some fitness streamers. So that's where they would highlight, and you'll kind of just see the basis.
Okay.
Um,
All of these people are live right now that are kind of,
all of these
yeah.
people are live right now.
Okay.
So when you get to the website, you can make an account, or you don't have to. But I think to find people, follow them, all of that sort of stuff, you can't explore the site much without really making an account. So
Okay.
once you do that, you can kind of go through and be like, I really like what this person's doing right here. You can click on their page and I'll show you there's a little heart button, and that's how you follow them. But mine's a little bit more customized because I've been on the platform for about 3.5 years. So
Okay.
these are other content creators that I follow that I really enjoy the stuff that they make. I hang out in their communities. And then it'll give other people who are doing things that I might like. So here are some of the video games I really like. So it's like, click on these categories. Like we can go in to Stardew Valley right now, and I can click it, and it would show me all of the streamers currently playing this game. So then I could find somebody and be like, oh, they play this game I really like, and I'm going to click on it and hang out in their stream.
Gotcha. So you can
So
search via game, via category,
Yep.
then it'll start kind of making suggestions for you.
yeah, or you can search based on name. So, well, we can search mine right now. So you can type in, if you know the name of somebody that you like, if you want to follow Dr. Lupo or Glad or ASMR or, anybody else that you find their name, you can type in their name at the top and then be like, oh, okay. So this is my page here at the top.
Okay.
And when you get on their page, they might have a welcome video, they might not. I haven't finished setting mine up yet. But then it can show in there, because everybody has their own private carousel, like what you saw on the front page. So then it'll have other videos if they're hosting somebody. This is another streamer, Chillbo. So it's kind of like an endorsement,
Right.
or videos that they've highlighted.
Right.
So this
you
was
can kind of suggest friends that you want to promote on this section.
exactly. And then it kind of gets to their page. So there's a home, and about, their schedule, their video, and then if they're currently live. So if you click the about, it normally has a little bit about them. So proud Canadian full-time streamer. All of that can be like a different thing per person. And then some of the other things, information, donations, links to sponsors, or links to other things, Twitter and social media.
Yeah.
And then if you click on their chat button, right now it's going to show Chillbo, but if I was live, it would show me right here.
Okay.
And you'd be able to be like, hello. And I would then see that and be able to respond to you.
Very cool. And is there like capability for video as well, or to like?
Hi, John. Not from viewers.
Okay.
There are other programs that we'll use as a community to do that, but not with on Twitch.
And then so people can kind of sort or look through your library of past videos as well on here.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And how does how do you make money? So people will just donate throughout the day based on what game you're playing, or?
So there's a couple different ways to make money. Some of it is sponsored from game companies, sponsored from products. You guys are too sweet. So there's the corporate side of it. So like I could do a sponsored stream, and let's say a game company is like, okay, I want you to play my game for 2 hours. Here's X amount of dollars.
Okay.
And then then that's kind of, they're paying me to endorse their product.
Right.
The other thing is through bits, subs, and donations. So those come from chat members where they would say, hey, I really like the content you're making. Here's my subscription for the next 30 days. And um it has different levels of financial John, just like what John just did. So John's gifting and other members can gift subscriptions to other people. So not everybody on the platform can afford to be able to give. You guys are
And it's optional, right? I mean, people,
yeah.
it's not like they have to pay to watch you. It's optional. Very cool. So tell us a little bit like about physically playing video games all day. Does that, does CMT affect that? Do you have any type of adaptive controls or anything that you kind of any hacks that you use for games?
I I definitely get up and stretch every hour.
Okay.
Like even if I'm having a bad body day, I know that getting up and moving for all of us is always the better option, at
Right.
least to get a little bit of blood flow. Um, I have a heating pad that I sit with very often. Um, so it's making myself and a really good chair. Those
Mm,
are all things that I've used to like make sure that sitting for 8 hours a day, I have the right supports.
right.
Um, I when I first built my computer, I did mouse and keyboard, and then the shaking started to get a little worse, and my hands started to cramp up a little bit more. There's different settings within your mouse that you can use to drop the sensitivity. So if you're shaking a lot, there's a lot of things like that that you could use to drop that down, and it makes it so it runs a little bit smoother. It might take more effort to make the mouse move,
Right.
but you're going to get a smoother movement. I switched a lot to using a controller, and I'll remap my keys to whatever is easiest for me to move my hands.
Okay.
So if I'm having if I'm having a bad day, I'll make sure that it's easy for me to move and do things. And I have a couple different controllers. Some are heavier than others, some are lighter, and it's just taken some time to play and figure out which ones work best in that sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know, I'm not personally a gamer, but I know I've seen recently a lot of big brands coming out with like adaptive controllers, like
Mhm.
Xbox. So they are out there if anybody is interested in, upping their game. Check them out. Like, they're definitely out there. There's growing interest in creating and producing these types of controllers for the disability community. So,
I
uh,
saw a really cool video on Instagram of a young gentleman who had no use of his hands play an entire video game with his
rough,
with
right?
yeah with and then got it all going and like was kicking butt, and I was like, this is it's such a cool
Yeah.
thing to get to see, and how inclusive and adaptive the community is becoming. And a lot of that is us speaking us speaking out, asking for that sort of stuff, and speaking out about disability, and speaking out about adaptability.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that because I know you're starting to advocate now on Twitch, and you have a special event coming up next month. What's that been like, merging those two worlds of advocacy together and gaming, and when did you first decide to speak out on this platform about CMT?
It took about 6 months after my diagnosis to speak up about CMT. I had raised money for Extra Life and had been looking into charity streams and that sort of stuff previously before my diagnosis, as I know it's a really awesome platform to be able to use your voice. And I think that's a really important thing for anybody that's on social media, that's a content creator, that's growing a platform, becoming an influencer. Your voice is really important.
Right.
And I was listening to a podcast between Michelle Obama and Oprah. And Michelle Obama said, if you have a platform, why wouldn't you use it? And it was that exact moment of sitting there and going, oh, well, I have a platform. Why am I not using it for the most important thing that is completely changing my life? And
True.
I'm not the only person going through this, and I know that. So why wouldn't I use what I've already been building to help others?
And what's been the reaction so far?
continued support always.
Yeah.
This community and the communities on Twitch, not just mine, but I'm a little biased to mine, um, are all filled with such beautiful people. And like a lot of people in my chat probably didn't know what CMT was. And they've reached out and said, hey, I didn't know what this was. And now you're helping teach me, you're helping bring awareness. And it was really, really, really awesome to see support from all over the world.
Awesome. Because it's such a, I mean, it's such a global platform. You can connect with anyone. Um, so tell us about this event that you have coming up next month and what you have planned.
Yeah. So we're running, I'm working with another streamer and she's raising money for lupus. So we're going to be having a lot of conversations about chronic illness as well.
Okay.
And although CMT is not autoimmune, there are a lot of similarities where, so Coco Confession is the other streamer I'm working with. And we'll talk about bad body days. We'll talk about pain. We'll talk about the food that we eat and how that affects different things in daily life. And so it was really interesting. I helped her raise money for lupus in May. And she was like, well, why don't we do an event together that's about both of what's really important to us? And it was really, really, really awesome to get to see a community come together and get to share things like that. So Coco and I are working together for the weekend. So it's December 4th to the 6th.
Okay.
I'm streaming 3 p.m. Normally I go about 6 hours, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're playing Stardew Valley our first day. We're playing Phasmophobia with Coco. So we're teaming up, which is a spooky game. And there'll be scare alerts. So chat can donate money to Charcoal Marie Tooth or to Lupus. And either one of us will get like a loud sound in our ears to scare us.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I'm going to be playing an old retro game with something called Crowd Control, which is an integration again where chat can donate and then make my controls really difficult. So either it inverts my controllers or it gives me everything becomes ice. It's it makes things a little bit more difficult, and all of that money will go towards CMT.
Oh, that's very cool. So it's like super interactive. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I think, the really awesome thing about raising money on Twitch is a lot of the charity streams and a lot of the charity streamers that I've seen do work is it's interactive. So I have a friend who does tons of charity work, tons of charity streams, and he eats hot peppers. He eats the hottest thing on the scale that he can find. And he's like, if we hit $1,000, I'll eat this.
Wow.
And he does it. And we've all helped him get to that goal. But then also watching him do it, you're like,
yeah,
that's like, oh no.
I don't know how much donation it would take for me to eat one of those crazy peppers. I actually saw a show recently where it was the national competition of hot pepper eating, and that was just pretty.
No, thank you.
Pretty intense. But yeah, so there's a lot of creativity and different
creativity and the interaction. The interaction, I think, is a big part about what helps elevate awareness and B keeps it going.
Yeah.
So
I love that because you have the best of both worlds. You have, the meaningful conversation and the connection, and then you have the entertainment side of it. So it seems like you started, in the arts, so then you kind of have made this full circle back to here. So what does that feel like? Does that feel like, natural to you to kind of be in the spotlight and just have a different stage, different than the one that you initially?
It's the most beautiful gift that I could have been given. Like, it feels like I've taken everything in my life and been able to put it together in one. And like, it's a beautiful thing to be able to sit with all of these people and be able to talk about the hard things Because there are days that we'll talk about really difficult things, or if I'm having a bad body day, I'm fully transparent and fully open about that.
Right.
Um, and there's understanding, and I'm not the only one that has bad days. So there's a lot of people in chat who openly talk about this happened today and I had a really bad day. And it's a support network around it. It's
I
really
think
cool.
it's such an important time, especially this year, more than ever, to have that
Absolutely.
outlet and that connection with people, and um, to have those, those discussions that we miss out on, unfortunately, on all the face-to-face events. But I'm glad that this is just another method of connecting. So
Absolutely.
you really
I
appreciate. Does anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask Kelly? And while we wait for the questions to come through, where can people find you? I know we're going to be sharing your social media and
Mhm.
things in our e-blast, and if you follow us on social media, you'll be able to link to Ellie's page. So we have your story on there as well, and all your social
You
media
you
outlets.
guys did such a beautiful job putting that together. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I'm pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and then working on a couple other avenues as well. Um, but those are all 3LLEBELLE,
Okay, just
except for Twitter. I can type that in chat. I can actually probably share all of the links.
yeah, that'd be great. Someone asked here why use Chef Kiss. I don't know. Is that game lingo?
Oh, that chef kiss is going mwah,
Uh,
like the.
I thought
um,
you were some game lingo there.
okay, let's see. I think I sent them to you in an email, so I'll just pull that up.
Great. A lot of your fans are saying hello here. I love it.
You guys are too sweet. I appreciate. Do we have anybody who's been diagnosed with CMT in here who has any questions about gaming or their own sort of stuff in
Yeah.
that sense of if
Um,
they've tried adaptability controls? That's always been, that's a very, like, I've been very curious about actually speaking with somebody who's tried adaptability controls and what's worked for
we had
them.
a question here from Julie. Can you talk more about the types of controllers and adaptive equipment you use?
Mhm.
Maybe show it if you have it. And then I think, do you have to take breaks because of your hands or fingers hurt or get tired?
So I have this controller. I've got another one. I don't need one of the adaptive pads, but that's something that's a really cool option. If you looked for Able Gamers is a big charity that has a lot of resources on their website
Okay.
for types of controllers. But as you said, Xbox has one, and they're a pad that you can change and move the buttons to whatever you would need to and move them so that it can put it in either a wide or a smaller
Hmm.
variation for you.
That's pretty cool.
I just use a regular, I'm sponsored by Corsair, so all of my products are Corsair. But this button here is set up to a background program that if I'm noticing, okay, I'm starting to shake too much and I can't aim a mouse, I can click that and it changes my setting. So it's a setting within my computer.
Okay. That's interesting. So you said that's Coursera?
Corsair, I can, yeah, I'll
Okay.
pull that one up too.
And then someone here asked, Brandon, what is your biggest challenge in dealing when it comes to CMT and streaming that you have faced, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, I think it's, I think the biggest challenge was being ready to talk about it.
Mm.
Because I think that there's something between getting a diagnosis and being ready to talk about it, that you go through grief of your own sense of like, okay, it's really great that I've got the information. That means that I have an avenue to find the right resources. But the diagnosis itself, you're kind of like, okay, that's hard information to take. And I think that that was my biggest challenge, was getting ready and being open about talking about it.
Yeah, I'm
And it
sure.
wasn't it wasn't so much that like I found that like people wouldn't be receptive to it. It's like being the face of having that conversation and
Mhm.
sharing it with others.
Right. Yeah, because then you have to basically accept it first, and then and then share from that space. So, well, we're glad you did, because it seems like a lot of people are can definitely relate. I think Julie had another question here. She said she found the Pro Controller for Nintendo Switch that works well for her, but her fingers still get tired and cold sometimes.
There are also gloves. I know that there are gloves that can help with circulation.
Okay.
That could be another option. My hands don't get super tired. Being a seamstress, I think, strengthened my hands so that that's not something that's hit for me yet. A lot for me, I wear two AFOs, and a lot of mine is in my leg movement. Um, I'm really slow walking. Can't really walk around my house without my braces. Um, but taking regular breaks and taking care of your hands, the same sort of things that you would do to normally uh, make the shakes a little less or the pain a little less. Um, Trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of, but I know that the gloves are definitely a
Yeah.
thing that I've seen
Okay.
around. I
Hmm.
haven't
We'll
haven't tried
definitely
them yet.
push her in too, because it's that time of year where
Mhm.
I'm cold 24/7. So
Oh,
I can definitely relate to,
heating pad, four
yeah,
blankets on my bed.
little space heater and all the work. So
I've got my space heater right there. Yep.
well, Brandon said, thank you for your strength. Well, thank you, Brandon, for your,
Thank you for being a part of the community. I
yeah, thank
appreciate
you for
that.
the sweet comments. Let's see if we have any more coming through here. Um, out of your experiences live and offline, what have what have been the biggest impact to get you where you are today in the gaming world? Maybe who's influenced you the most?
I think it's friends, because
Yeah.
I think for me, gaming has always been about connecting with others.
Mhm.
It's always about friends. So whenever my friends would be like, "Oh, try this game." So that's what happened to get me back into gaming in my mid 20s. One of my friends was like, "You've got to try Skyrim. You're going to completely love it." Next thing I knew, I sat down, and like 8 hours later I was like, "I need to come up for food and water and like maybe move." I don't know.
Right.
Um but I think that's been my biggest influence. And then yeah, and it was my half brother that actually like got me started in video games when I was 8. So
Okay. And so the community that you've built now on Twitch, would you consider, like new
all
friendships now? And do any of those
absolutely.
friendships kind of go offline as well? Have you met anyone on in person, or you talk to people?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I talk to my community every day, pretty much. If I'm not live, there's a community Discord, which is like a forum, a personal forum, and all of these people have become my friends, and I'm getting to know new friends all the time. And I've got to meet, so I went to TwitchCon in 2019, and I got to meet a lot of these amazing people and hug them and be like, "You're real. You're not through a screen. I get to touch your face and like, hello." And there's something to be said about sharing a hobby with somebody. Automatically, you have a foundation for a friendship. And my best friends have come from this place. And as Medee says, tap, tap. I haven't been able to see Medee was one of the wonderful people I got to meet at TwitchCon. And I haven't been able to see her since September 2019. So she jokes, she's like, "Why are you stuck in there?" But we get to play games together, and I get to
Right.
play with other streamers, and it's a really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely makes 2020 a little easier. Takes the edge off.
It does make it easier. And I feel like I have been given this opportunity to be able to still have the relationships and friendships, because sometimes I'll finish stream and then hang out in Discord and then be like, I'm ready for some alone time. Like I've just spent my entire day with people,
Yeah,
even though I didn't leave my room.
right.
So
I love that. And then someone here asked, you talked about losing your voice in musical theater. Have you ever sang on Twitch?
I do Twitch sings.
Okay,
Haven't done it overly recently, but I do, and I love it. I would sing all the time.
that's awesome. Yay. So if you guys check out one of Ellie's broadcasts in the next, well,
I'm going to drop the links in
the
there.
event,
There's Twitch,
check her out.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. Discord's a really easy way if you want to contact me if you have any questions, if I can help in any way. Um, my Twitter DMs are also open. Those are kind of, and my emails on there too.
Great.
So
Well, thank you, Ellie. We had a good time with you. I learned a lot. I might check out Twitch a little bit more.
absolutely.
We'll definitely be checking you out for your event. Again, it's December 4th through the 6th, correct?
Yes, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
Okay.
on the twitch.tv/elbow.
Great. And do people have to create an account to watch you, or can they just like log in, like check?
I think they can just watch.
They can just, okay,
But if they want to chat, then they'll have to make an account.
gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do for the CNT community, and we look forward to your upcoming work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been amazing to work with you guys, and I can't wait to keep working with you. So
Yes, we're excited. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
have a good night.
Take care.